Hello, welcome. Today we are going to talk about how to starve a narcissist. So with narcissistic people, one of the most salient elements of their personality is that they are very triggering. And they are very triggering because they cannot metabolize their own shame, guilt, self-hatred, which they all have a lot of. They can't metabolize it at all, so they have to offload it onto other people. And they have this really keen ability to target and know whatever your insecurity is and just pull at it and pick at it. So they're very triggering, and then you end up in these huge negative fights, and then you have this really bad emotional hangover, and it's just this horrible cycle that goes and goes. And then they're nice a little bit to pull you back in, but it ends up being so toxic. And anyone that's been around a narcissist or been subject to narcissistic abuse knows exactly what I'm talking about. So let's get into the first tactic. I have in my notes, so I just stay on track because I could get a little excited. The first one is no emotion, like little to no emotion, because that's what they're trying to pull out of you. They literally feel soothed when you get all triggered and you're emotional. They actually feel more relaxed, but that's really toxic for you. So the first thing, even if you're feeling it inside, just no emotion, because you're teaching people how to treat you. So if the narcissist is like, I'm not getting what I want here, they'll eventually find a new target. So little or no emotion, which leads into my second tactic, which is short responses. Yes, no is a complete sentence. No is a complete sentence. No. And so is yes. So just keeping the responses nice and short. And this is super important because a lot of their responses aren't based in reality, and they will do things to trigger you. And then you're like, what? And you feel like you have to explain yourself. There's always this need to explain yourself and a need to draw them into reality, because they're denying your reality and making you feel really bad in the process. So you will get in this thing where you want to talk and over explain yourself. It never leads to anything good. Don't do it. Stay away. Short responses with no emotions. And this leads into my next tactic strategy, which is to just walk away. So let's say they're just not giving up, because a lot of them do not quit. So just walk away. Don't say anything and walk away. Not responding or just being silent and walking away are two really good strategies, because all of a sudden the shame is back on them and they have to deal with it, and let them deal with it. That's not yours to process or deal with. It's too exhausting. It's horrible for your emotional and physical well-being. So let them sit with that. If you're in a car with them, just be quiet and let them yell and scream if they're getting triggered by you not responding. Let them do it. The next tactic is minimal interaction in general. So if you work with someone or you live with someone, so you're in close proximity, just keep it light and polite and keep it as minimal as possible. No extracurricular whatever, or you're just gonna set yourself up for something bad. And a lot of times they're nice and they try to pull you in, and then boom. Keep the interactions minimal. And the last strategy is no contact. Sometimes we just need an absolute break from the narcissist. We hit that breaking point, we just hit a really bad bottom, and emotionally, physically, psychologically, we can't handle it anymore. And I think this is a really good, healthy thing to do. I think it's a wonderful form of self-care. Now, the narcissist will not like that. And when you initially start to set boundaries and distance yourself, they will kick and scream and manipulate, or sometimes a covert narcissist will draw you back in with gifts or being extra nice, or both covert and overt may do this. Or they'll just rage and kick and scream until you're like, oh my God, I can't, okay, fine, I'll come back. And so they'll do that. And if that doesn't work, they'll do what's called campaigning, and then they'll bring in other people that you guys are both related to somehow and try to draw you back in. And these people are more on the codependent side with the narcissist, and they'll try to convince you for whatever reason, because your relatives or your employers, or you work in the same place, that you guys should really get something will happen like that. And if you just maintain your boundaries and your distance, it will work. They'll eventually give up, they'll eventually find a new target. And in that time, really focus on yourself, really focus on the healing that you get to have, because they are so emotionally draining and toxic. So it's a really hard thing, and I totally understand it. So if you have any other questions about this and how to starve a narcissist and how to heal from narcissistic abuse, let me know.